Hey everybody, my name is Patrisse Cullors. I am the co-founder of Black Lives Matter. I'm also the executive director of the Black Lives Matter Global Network. And I am ready to answer. Am I a Marxist? Let's get into it. So I'm a lot of things. I do believe in Marxism. It's a philosophy that I learned really early on in my organizing career. We were taught to learn about the systems that were criticizing capitalism. We were taught to understand why there were philosophies that were criticizing capitalism.
Okay, let's talk about Black Lives Matter. This is probably going to end up being an utter waste of my time having you on the show. What are your thoughts about
you
Black
don't know
Lives
that.
Matter?
You may learn something.
We'll see, preacher. What is it about Black Lives Matter that you disagree with fundamentally?
Black Lives Matter was founded by a bunch of fat black radical lesbians.
Okay.
And who
All
hate
right, have a good
God.
night. Get this clown off my show. I appreciate you.
Who
Thank you for
hate
being-
God, who hate the
Thank you,
nuclear
sir.
family.
Yeah. Listen, for those of you who wanted me to continue to engage that clown on this show, I'm sorry, I just couldn't do it. I'm only a human being. So please forgive me, okay?
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got some more news about BLM to talk about here, because just a few days ago, I talked to you guys about BLM basically on the verge of bankruptcy, okay? They operated at a $8 to $9 million deficit last year, despite continuing to handsomely pay their executives. And a lot of people are now seeing what I've been saying, what a lot of people have been saying, conservatives, Republicans, or whatever, about the BLM movement, basically from the beginning, that it was a big scam, okay? It was a grift in order to get a bunch of woke activists rich, okay? And it just so happens that these woke activists claim to be Marxists, right? They claim to be Marxists, they claim to be communists, but again, they love getting that money, right? They love getting that money, okay? And it just so happens that the best skill that they had was grifting off of the backs of dead black men, okay, because that's what happened. They made money off of dead black men being killed by white people. Most of the time it was justified. You know, sometimes it wasn't justified, but most of the time it was justified. It's just one of those things where, because our society is made of people who are just not very smart, okay? I mean, I'm just keeping it 100 with you. They allegedly raised over $90 million, okay? Over $90 million following what happened with George Floyd. Now, some people say that BLM plus BLM related causes raised over $1 billion, okay? Which again is terrible, right? It really is. It is a symptom of a society that's just not very intelligent, and it's just very fascinating to watch the BLM grift fall apart real time in front of our faces, because again, we called this. We knew that these people were scam artists, right? And now corporate America is finding out the hard way that these people are scam artists. They don't have any real talent. They don't have any real abilities or anything like that. They basically got famous because they got lucky, right? In regards to what happened with George Floyd. It's really a shame, okay? It really is. So that brings us to this story right here of BLM leader Patrisse Cullors secretly dumped from Warner Brothers TV deal, okay? So she has got dumped by Warner Brothers because she was expected to actually produce something, right? Which again is just silly on their part. Why would you expect a self-proclaimed Marxist, communist, to produce anything of value for you, right? But they expected her to produce something, and apparently she just couldn't, right? So now she's been dumped, okay? Again, this is absolutely hilarious. Let's read here. Warner Brothers Television Group secretly ended a multi-platform deal with Patrisse Cullors, the former leader of Black Lives Matter, the Post has learned. The Post can reveal no shows were produced under the deal, despite Cullors saying she planned dramas, comedies, documentary series, and animated programming for children. Quote, the studio signed an overall deal with BLM co-founder Patrisse Cullors at some point in 2020, said a source familiar with the studio's contract negotiations Friday. Quote, deal expired at the end of October 2022. The deal, unfortunately, did not result in any produced shows. Now, again, who's surprised by this? When this woman was running Black Lives Matter, BLM failed to actually give any of the money or resources to their own chapters, right? So the chapters that were supposed to be doing the groundwork for the national organization, they didn't give any money to them, right? And they had a civil war over that, okay? They were like, yo, where's the money? Why are we not getting any money to help us with our causes and initiatives? Now, my argument is that, I mean, either way, it wouldn't have mattered because the BLM chapters would have spent the money on stupid stuff, right? But again, come to find out, a lot of these founders allegedly were hoarding money for themselves, okay? The leaders of this company were hoarding money for themselves, and this is something that would happen regardless of who was leading the organization, okay? Patrisse Cullors led the organization. She magically got rich. She claims it's not because she was siphoning off money from donations. She claims it's because of TV deals like this, okay? And then she stepped down, and then another person stepped up into the leadership role, Shemaya Bowers, who apparently was the handpicked successor of the leader of BLM by Patrisse Cullors. And lo and behold, this guy is getting sued because he's been accused of siphoning off $10 million in donations.
Executive with Black Lives Matter is accused of siphoning more than $10 million from donors. The claim was made in a court filing by the grassroots arm of the organization. Shalomaya Bowers is named in the suit along with their consulting firm. Bowers has denied the claims, calling the accusations harmful, divisive, and false.
Yeah, so there should be no surprises there, right? Every time somebody leaves this organization, they magically get rich. They magically get rich, and, you know, it seems like you're not seeing nearly as many results for the communities that they claim that they were trying to help, okay? Again, these people get rich and then they go live with white folks. And then they point the finger at you and call you racist if you call them out and say, hey, you know what? This was a scam, right? This is a scam. But again, Warner Brothers should not be surprised that this self-proclaimed Marxist did not produce any content. Again, she doesn't know how to do anything. She doesn't have any real talent, okay? Being an activist is not a talent. It's not a skill. Okay, you don't produce anything of value for society, okay? Especially these race hustlers. These people don't know how to do anything. And Warner Brothers learned this the hard way. I wonder did they pay her up front, right? I wonder did they pay her up front, because they pay her up front, they deserve to lose their money, right? She can keep it. They deserve to lose it because they're stupid for even signing this deal in the first place. Again, she didn't even produce any content out of the BLM mansion that they bought, right? So they bought a mansion, and they claim that, well, we bought the mansion because we're going to use it to produce content. They haven't produced anything, right? They haven't done anything except get themselves rich. It's just hilarious. It's hilarious, but it's also sad at the same time. The multi-year agreement was to develop and produce original programming to include Black stories across streaming, cable, and broadcast platforms. It encompassed animated and children's content as well as scripted and unscripted series, according to Variety, which reported on the deal in October 2020. The agreement was meant to draw on Cullors' experience as a leader of the movement, which started in the courtyard of her Los Angeles home in 2013. According to a report from the studio at the time, the value of the deal was not disclosed at the time, Variety reported. A spokeswoman for Warner Brothers, now part of Warner Brothers Discovery, declined comment Friday. Cullors did not respond to requests for a comment. Of course she didn't. She says white supremacy, right? Talking about this is white supremacy, according to her. The end of her contract in October 2022 was a stark contrast to an interview she gave to The Hollywood Reporter in January of that year. She said she was working on documentaries on how the idea of land back, in which Native Americans have former tribal lands returned, could work as reparations. Another was on Black social mobility in the U.S. Cullors said she was working on a scripted project about marijuana and others on female Black leaders and what she called the toll of life under a system that doesn't see us or makes us hyper visible and also hyper invisible at the same time. Again, I have no clue what the hell that means. What does that mean? Again, I have no clue at all. What does that even mean? Again, this is a waste of money, right? Waste of money. Cullors, 39, an artist and activist, resigned from Black Lives Matter in May 2021, a month after the Post reported that she had gone on a $3.2 million real estate shopping spree, buying up properties in California and in Georgia. Yeah, she got rich, right? So apparently if, Patrisse Cullors wasn't siphoning off money from her BLM donations, she probably got a big fat deal from Warner Brothers, right? Probably a few $1 million, and she used that to buy real estate. Amazing. Again, sounds like a capitalist to me, right? She said at the time that she did not use any of the nonprofit's cash to make the purchases, and that she was resigning to focus on a book and a TV deal. Quote, I've created the infrastructure and the support and the necessary bones and foundations so that I can leave, Cullors said, adding that her departure had been in the works for a while and was not tied to what she described as, quote, right-wing attacks that tried to discredit my character. A year after signing the deal with Warner Bros., Cullors bought a sprawling 2,500 square foot home in Los Angeles, Topanga Canyon, in 2021 for $1.4 million, public records show. Last year, she spent tens of thousands to install a fence around the property and has lately began refocusing on art projects, which gallery shows open in Los Angeles in the last few months, according to reports. Cullors' artwork was recently featured in a show at a Los Angeles gallery. Yeah, so again, her art is probably as good as Hunter Biden's art, right? You know Hunter Biden? Okay, apparently he's an artist now. Okay, he's the new Picasso, right? Who knows? Again, it's just hilarious to see that everything that these people do is a disaster, right? It's an absolute disaster. And Warner Bros., again, if they paid her millions of dollars, they deserve what they got out of it, which is absolutely nothing, right? They deserve to lose that money. It's absolutely insane. It really is. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.